Peace and blessings, everybody. I know, I know it's been a while, a while since you all have seen me, heard from me. It's been a lot. It's been a lot going on these last couple of months. About 3 weeks ago, lost a cousin, 52, and my cousin Karita, and we grew up together. Unfortunate passing. And that's weighty, man, because like I say, for those that have followed me through this journey for the last, year or so, coming home, man, to rude awakenings, and my cousin, when I left, she's always been a little heavy, but we grew up together and she was moving and agile. I come home, she's always in a wheelchair. She's going to hospitals, medical reasons and so forth. And, in dealing with her life the way she's dealt with it, and lost her a few weeks ago. And it's painful because I just saw her at my Uncle Wayne's, our uncle's funeral, viewing. And just losing a lot of family. But with that said, I thank all of you all who have hung with me, who are still watching my videos, who are still tapping into what little bit I have to offer. It is a lot to some, it's nothing to others, but I appreciate those who do, take from my videos something. It's for those, on the inside, primarily juveniles, young kids, wilding, sit them down, let them watch the truth. I was blessed to be able to speak at a friend of mine named Troy Ketchmore. Follow him on YouTube. He's building his channel, I Am Troy Ketchmore. He did 26.5 years in prison for something he didn't do. But he came home, hit the ground running, and he hasn't stopped. He started a program in Powelltown Correctional Center in Virginia, and called the Think Tank. And he has made me a part of that, under the banner of Catch More Kids nonprofit. And a few weeks ago, I was blessed to be able to speak to a group of youth and parents down in the Hampton Roads area of Virginia. And it was a blessing. A couple of people spoke, a doctor, psychologist, a sister who had been shot in the head. And about not too long ago, as a matter of fact, and she said she can't stand for more than 45 minutes. She can't, her left arm doesn't move. She hears anything that sounds like a popping sound. And, PTSD is taking over. And she's like 30 years old, and she's just suffering daily. But, she spoke as well. And this other guy from Newport News, his brother, who was known, as a wild guy out there, a shooter, if you will. And he came and spoke, and so, I did that. I have been active. I spoke with another organization with the youth called CASA, DC. I was blessed to be able to speak to their mentors and mentees. They have a few more things on the horizon. So for those that know me, I'm busy, I'm active. I was blessed to be able to come out with my second poem book. I'm proud of that. That was a blessing. And it's on Amazon, Still Thinking, by Khalid Kareem. A lot of people, who have purchased the book, they've given me great reviews, so, if you like poetry, if you like, I got a couple of short stories in there. Please go, pick it up. Still Thinking by Khalid Kareem on Amazon. My second poem book just came out a couple of months ago. So I'm not gonna hold you all long this morning. I wanted to speak about something. The inner child. The inner child. I got that term from a book I read in this program I attended called Houses of Healing. And the book I read in the program was by a doctor from up the Boston area. She dealt with psychology and psychiatry, and began to go into prison facilities. So she wrote the book, and I read it, did the program, and facilitated a couple of times. I was grateful to be able to do that, but I took it seriously, right? And one of the phrases that she coined in there, or stressed, was the inner child. That part of us that when we were children should have been able to grow and to blossom and to bloom into adulthood. But that wasn't the case with a lot of us, myself included. Too many of us were children at the age of 5, 6, and 7, babysitting for hours. You know, that's something to impose on a child. A child is going to be fearful, already unaware of our strengths, our weaknesses. We have to babysit a baby, a toddler, crawling. Sometimes I've known children, really 6, 7 years old, that have to change a diaper, don't really know what they're doing. But parents who are sitting around doing them, or who aren't around, have imposed this on children. Children should be able to learn, right? Learn. You know, we used to come up off of Sesame Street and Romper Room, and you know, now in the modern age, you have so many children. I come home, they was playing this thing called Baby Shark all day. You know, my little niece used to sing Baby Shark, da, da, and I was singing with it. It became such a staple in my, I just heard it and I would be humming it, right? But many educational shows today, so they're, you know, great benefits today on the internet and stuff like that. But there also has to be a grooming and explaining to the children, and some children are left unattended. I've seen children in the project I go around called Potomac Gardens, and I'm not exaggerating, and some of you all who stay with me have watched me and have heard me say this, and I'm not exaggerating when I say I've seen 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds in Potomac Gardens out at 10 o'clock at night by themselves in a project. Very little lighting, no police, no adult supervision. The oldest child among them ripping and running was this girl, and she was 10, big for 10, but 10, right? But these children, when I was in prison, I realized, man, that there were guys who were, you know, 16 coming in, 17, 18, like myself, wrestling, you know, playing and joking all day. And then you see them 10 years into their time, they joking all day, watching cartoons all day. And someone be like, that's how they doing their time. You know, that's how he do his time. He bid, nah, never got a chance to grow up. So now he's sitting around. I mean, I swear I knew a couple of guys that watch cartoons all day. No documentaries, no news, no serious TV. They just wanted to laugh. And prison is a harsh environment, so I understood that. But some guys never got a chance to grow. I know guys who are illiterate now, 40, 50, 60 years old, who have no education except prison understanding, except understanding the rules in prison. When you urinate, you don't urinate into the bowl, the water, because of the splashing noise. That'll irritate your roommate. You urinate on the side of the bowl. When you walk at night, you walk almost as light as you can. You tiptoe. And I've heard people out here say, why do people that did time walk so light? Y'all so quiet. Because you don't want to disturb the peace of your roommate, because y'all living in a 5 by 10 cell, right? These are rules. Brushing your teeth. Most people don't brush their teeth when they're going to breakfast 4, 5 in the morning, because you don't want to gurgle, make the noises and whatnot. You're spitting in the sink while your roommate is trying to sleep. So you usually put a little toothpaste on your tongue, switch it around, go eat breakfast, come back, lay back down, and when everybody's waking up 7, 8 o'clock, then you brush your teeth. These are rules, and people are coming home with these rules, and some are good principles. But this is conditioning, right? So I remember guys that had these juvenile thoughts. There were guys that were 40 still arguing about Biggie and Tupac and Jay-Z, because that's when they got incarcerated. They got incarcerated with the cars from back then, pages, little beepers, pages back then. I know guys, including myself, that remember this pager number. Mine was 301-337. That was my pager number. It wasn't 307 now, like 0111. You know what I mean? But I remember that. You had guys, we come home, you have cell phones and everything. But a lot of us were, our growth was stunted when we got incarcerated, almost like a time capsule. And our inner child was stunted. Already hard, already come up in an environment in the projects in the inner city with parents that many of us didn't have parents that were there. You know, I love my parents. You know, my 2 mothers, my father, I love them to death, man. Came home and my mama was gone. 2 months before I came home, my mother was dead. That's still a painful pill. My father, love him to death. He helped raise me. You know, I want our bond to be stronger. My stepmother loved her. But when I was in there, everybody out here was living and growing and becoming who they are today. I was becoming who I am today. But there's still an inner child in me that wished that he would have grew up out here with everybody. That I would have been able to grow up and go to King's Dominion and Disney World and Appalachian Mountains and just travel the world and enjoy life as a child, you know, as far as the money would allow, you know what I'm saying, in my family's household. Nah. And I see people. I've been to, you know, the beach, and I'm looking at kids playing and learning how to surf. I've seen kids riding horses, and I've seen kids in the project that don't know nothing but the project. Think about that. That's an inner child that's not being allowed to grow, to evolve. We as parents can stunt the growth of our children because the child in us has been stunted. So now you have parents struggling with two or more personalities, not on some, you know, schizophrenic. You know, I'm talking about like a child inside. So the parents don't know how to deal with life. So we have a child inside. We retreat. I'll retreat from time to time. In prison, you had rules. We talk, we get it off our chest, we come to an understanding, or we just don't rock. That's really not the best way to do things. I mean, if it comes down to, you know, clashing of character, clashing of things, you know, things like that. But I've seen guys, man, that were tight for years. I'm talking walk their yard for years. I've told y'all that, man. And they get into a fight or argument, they don't talk no more. I come home and I'm seeing this. You know, back in the day, man, you know, I seen my aunt and my mom and them disagree. They might go a couple months without talking. I've seen my uncles argue. They might go a couple of months, you know, without talking. I've seen my father and my older cousin, you know, disagree. Small, subtle disagree. We don't even know to this day some of the disagreements, but, you know, we like, okay, they not around each other. They don't seem like they're on the phone with each other for about 2-3 months. Next thing you know, but we still allowed to go over to see our baby cousins. You know, the adults never restricted us the access to one another. Now, they would be the ones to take us, all right, I'm going to drop them off. All right, I'm going to drop them off. Now, they may not be talking, but they didn't restrict the children from forging those bonds, because as we get older, the children have bonds among themselves that may help them prosper together as family, as friends. Nah, not today, man. Today you get into a beef or argument, you don't talk for years. That's because something in us has not been nurtured. You know, something in us has not been nurtured. All of us, man. Schools should teach communication. Schools should teach what it is to forgive, not necessarily forget, not necessarily, you know, ignore, not necessarily embrace that which has hurt you over and over and over again. But school should teach us, parents should teach us what it is to forgive, what it is to understand someone else's perspective, what it is to communicate, to talk. Okay, not yell. If you yell, okay, bringing it down. We have to be taught these things, myself included. You have people that need anger management. Almost every, you know, convicted felon, every returning citizen I know, brothers are coming home, sisters are coming home calm. But we have a repressed calm. It's not a calm that is thoroughly ingrained. It is a calm because in there, you yell, huh? Then the CO pull up, you got to be quiet because you're not trying to catch a charge. You want to fight, but the CO pull up. What y'all doing? You don't want to catch a charge. So we come home, we got a lot of stuff still built in us, a lot of pain still in us. And it's beneath the surface, and we've learned how to manage, but it's hard. It's hard, you know. And so I say this, like I say, I've watched guys inside who were children when they came in, and some, you know, remained children while they were in, and they grew. Circumstances, situations, you know, made them grow in a lot of areas. But we are not well-rounded adults. We are not well-rounded adults. I remember when grandparents worked every day. They died, they owned homes. Today, you know, my generation, we worked, but we weren't even thinking about homes, apartments, right? And kids today are thinking about even less. Whose house can they sleep over? Whose house, you know, I'm talking about 20-year-olds. Whose house can they stay over? Who can they live off of? Who can they use? Where's the work ethic? We're not well-rounded. Why? Because a whole generation was incarcerated. Why? Because the TV, the shows are teaching things. These things are subtle, and yet blatant conditioning going on in the mind. Like I said, all you have to do is watch these shows, these Real Housewives, these Real Basketball Wives, these hip-hop shows and all that, and you see people throwing bottles at each other, chairs at each other, fighting each other, grown women, grandmothers, grandfathers, just trying to charge each other because someone said, I don't feel that, I don't like that, I don't like you, you know what I'm saying? But they're always together. the producers keep them together. The producers remind them of what they said 2 shows back, and they keep them at each other. And our little girls, our little boys are watching this, so they're not being taught to talk. They're being taught to get your point across, ignore the other's point, and then spaz. Some of us on the street are like that. Some of us in corporate America like that. My point is the only point. The inner child in us. And I have a poem in the new book, Still Thinking. Don't forget to go get it on Amazon. But it's a poem called Inner Child. And it was the picture that accompanies that is actually painted by a sister named Sadira, who lives in Virginia. She painted the picture. And one day I was talking about my poem, and she said the poem, she said that title, the picture that your cousin got, is called Inner Child. I looked at it. It's an abstract. But I could see the correlation to my poem. So I put that picture as well in the book, right? But let us study our inner child. Let us sit back and ponder the child within us that needs growth, that demands growth, that demands attention. That child needs consoling. Yeah, that child should be able to laugh and joke. I'm not saying don't nurture that child, but that child has to slowly but surely grow into adulthood. Don't continue to suppress the child, right? But as children are supposed to learn, let us continue to teach our inner child that it is okay, 1, to exist, 2, that it's all right to grow, right? This is a hard thing, man. Look at the world. Look at the streets, man. People dying, you know. I was blessed, man, you know, with my brother to be able to go on a little boat, you know, thing in the beach. And we was on a boat out in the water in Virginia Beach. And there was a guy, I think he was Irish, and he had 4 kids and his wife. She was in the cabin area, you know, seasick. But he had 3 of his young children. The youngest, well, the 3 that was with him, she had the little baby. But the youngest that was on this boat, man, and I swear 2 people beside me was like, man, you know, I wouldn't leave my children unattended. He was in the cabin. We going 30, 40 miles an hour on a boat in the middle of the Atlantic, not the middle of the Atlantic, but in the Atlantic off of the coast of Virginia Beach where you can't even see the shoreline. We close to the Big Bay Bridge, that long, miles-long bridge, and these children are sitting there literally running, playing, rolling on the deck, man, my heart beating. My man actually grabbed one of the little youngest, man, an Asian guy, one of the youngest put his head through the bottom rung on the rail and looked over the boat. Asian guy grabbed him, little youngest snatched away and went and sat down, kept staring at the Asian dude, and then he put his hand out as if to show the Asian dude, look, I'll do this anyhow. You know, and then later on, we going back in, he put one of his legs outside the boat under the last rung, and my man grabbed him, man. But the father's inside, got 3 kids, because the mom taking care of the 4th sick. But I'm like, he looking, he Irish, maybe he wild, I don't know. But man, that almost ruined the trip for me, because I'm talking about the whole time I'm looking, and this is the truth. The day before, I don't know if it was on the news, but the day before, which was Saturday night, walking along the beach, we saw rescue helicopters, people stopping, people walking, everybody laughing. But, you know, if 100 people were out there, 70 were laughing, 30 were looking. Man, for 40 minutes, there was somebody out there under the water coming up, going down, and they could not find them. And we looked, and about 100 feet in front of us was a clustered family. 2 of the women down, a lot of the kids, man. And then the rescue called it in, and they started clapping. Man, tears coming out of everybody's face, man. You know, death, because people weren't paying attention to the little ones, right? Death is out here. Death stalks these streets, right? Look at the children and love them as if they were our own family members, and do our best to share a little love with them, protect them, man. Say hi, how y'all doing? Smile at them when you see them in the grocery store. Nod your head. You know, they walk around just as scared and just as frightful as the adults are, man. They don't know what's going on from day to day, you know. So, like I say, my intention wasn't to hold y'all that long. Just wanted to say, man, thank y'all for walking with me. Thank y'all for, you know, continuing this journey and supporting me. Many of you all have pushed these videos. Y'all share them. Y'all like them. Y'all even, you know, speak. And shout out to Banky, you know, for those that have asked me and him. I saw him this weekend, and he said, man, we got to do something. And one day we definitely going to sit down, man. Him and my man, Catchmore, actually about to come out with a podcast called Life After Life. So shout out to my brother, you know, Troy Catchmore, catch him. Also, for those that know me, y'all know I'm big on support. Go to on YouTube. Go to, it's a brother I did time with, he did 22. He's a phenomenal rap artist. Phenomenal, out of Lynchburg, Virginia. He's a spitter, he's mature, but he spits from the heart about the system and the life, man. And when I say you're gonna be impressed, go to Deuce at Deuce Big. The at sign, that little A looking squiggle, go to at Deuce, D-E-U-C-E, Big, B-I-G. And you'll see like one of the pictures on YouTube, it's gonna look like it's a cartoon of a guy, you know what I'm saying, with a globe on his back cross in the prison fence. Listen to that song, Chances. Listen to that song, Chances, man, and let it loop, man, because it talks about the pain of coming up and going into that system. Listen to Love Hella Right. You know, please, man, you know, really, you know what I'm saying? Y'all that support me, go to it when you get a chance, man, at Deuce Big. You know, many of y'all already, you know what I'm saying, subscribe to Banky. Like I say, we're gonna sit down one day, we're gonna chop it up for y'all. Definitely trying to stay active out here and to just be about the business of adulthood, right? Protect your inner child, allow your inner child to breathe, allow your inner child to grow, and strive to stay humble out here and active, because it is rough, it is hard, and like I say, I appreciate y'all, real talk. Stay peaceful, and I'll see y'all soon.